If you're having trouble understanding a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, this is the most wonderful demonstration, a simulation activity that I've ever used in a classroom. I wish I could say I came up with it, but I actually copied it from the GEMS material from the Lawrence Hall of Science and have used it for many years. The materials you will need are very simple: small styrofoam balls or any kind of small ball, a set of pencils that I've sharpened. I punched a little hole in the ball that I can insert the pencil in, and this represents the moon in this activity. And you can use a small lamp, a desk lamp of some type that has a light bulb that you can put in it. Here I just have this springs fixture that I've attached to the top of my lamp, and this becomes the sun in this activity. So I'm going to give you a demonstration quickly of how I do this, and then I'll darken my garage here and show you how this will really literally light up the kids with their imagination in explaining both types of eclipses. First thing you do is you have a light illuminated in the center of a dark room. Have your students in a circle around this, each of them holding one of these moon balls on the end of a pencil, and you're going to tell them that you're going to demonstrate the use of these materials in a solar and lunar eclipse. Of course, you can just do one at a time so you won't confuse the students. In this activity, tell them that their head will represent planet Earth and their pupil will represent where they are standing on planet Earth. When they do this activity, what they'll do, they're standing a distance away, is they will close one eye. If they need to, they can cover the eye. And in order to demonstrate a solar eclipse, what they're going to do is take the moon ball and pass it very slowly in front of the lit light bulb. And when it barely touches the light bulb, you can explain that that now is a partial eclipse, and they can bring it to totality and even see what's called Bailey's beads as the sun kind of shines little jewels around the edge, and they can slowly pull it out and they can see another partial eclipse as it leaves. Okay, here we go with the total eclipse of the sun. We're going slowly, the moon ball's passing in front, and right there we're beginning to get a partial eclipse. This will take about 2 minutes to happen in the United States. There's totality, and as we go, you can see there's Bailey's beads, and we're coming back to full sun again. One more time very quickly. We're going to go right through. There we're going into our solar eclipse and coming out of it. Cool, huh? To demonstrate the lunar eclipse, their head is still the Earth, but in this case, you will have the students turn 180 degrees, so the light bulb is actually hitting them in the back of their head. They hold the moon ball above their head, and when they do that, they will see a full moon. But as they take that full moon and pass it down into the shadow of their head, they will begin to see it go into a lunar eclipse. And if they go all the way behind their head, that shadow will make a total lunar eclipse. What is wonderful about this activity, and you will see this in my little simulation with the lights off, is they can also show the phases of the moon. Again, they will hold the moon, but this time the moon is going to be rotating around my head, the Earth. But as they rotate it, and they hold it up high enough, they will begin to see the phases of the moon. And here the moon, it's a new moon, and they'll begin to see it illuminated on the side facing the sun. And as they rotate, it will go to a full moon if they have it above their head. Right back here they'll see a full moon, and then as they come back slowly, they will see that crescent coming back into position again, and then the moon will become totally dark as they hold it above the sun. Really a cool demonstration. Okay, now we're going to do the phases of the moon, and here you begin to see the crescent of the moon, and look at how it's increasing. We're going towards fullness. There's half-lit moon. I'm continuing to go, and we're almost, there it is, full moon. And I have to be careful here because I don't want to get an eclipse this time. Full moon as we're away from the sun. And watch, if you look carefully, you'll see the crescent beginning to come back. There it is. And as we get closer, you can see the shadow moving across the moon. Isn't that cool? Doesn't that look just like what you've seen before? And then we're going to see it go to a crescent. There it is. And as I go above the sun, you'll see it disappear totally right there. If you'd like to go further with this activity, you can demonstrate how we use most of these things as timing mechanisms. For example, if their nose is pointing directly at that bulb, that's 12 noon. And as they rotate 90 degrees, right about here, it would be 3 o'clock. And as they rotate all the way around, now we're going into nighttime. They have midnight when they're facing away from the ball coming around, and they'll actually see the sunrise as they rotate into the sun back to 12 noon again. Another thing you can do is if you have them slowly walk around the light bulb as they go around one time, that is what we call a year. What is that? 365 and a quarter days to make that trip. And to make it a little more complicated, you can explain to your students how as they go around the sun for those 365 and a quarter days, they are constantly rotating day-night cycles every 24 hours. And it's interesting, you can even explain to them that we as human beings, we get about 72 to 100 laps around this star we call our sun, and then our life is done. Thank you for listening to this.